Hi and welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. And following on from finishing last week's video where I made my little foam boards a little bit shorter and I added a piece of foam board at the front and at the back, I got messing. So in relation to having a piece of foam board as a divider for, the blocks of colours in DMC, I sort of got thinking and I sort of got messing, basically. And I really liked the idea of blocking them off, but it wasn't working with just that one piece of foam board. So I had a bit of a mess about. And what I did was I ended up sandwiching two pieces of foam board together and then using the DMC stickers on the front to tell me the number as a little addition. So I thought I'd show you how I sort of did it by doing the one for 8,000. But what I've also done is I've coated the foam board. So instead of seeing the foam inside the board, I've now coated it with, basically this is sticker paper, a strip of sticker paper, which sort of makes it a little bit fresher. And of course, oh, there we go, that's why that piece won't fit in, because there's still a piece of foam there. Oh. So yeah, I thought I'd show you sort of what I've done, give you the measurements that I used. So for the divider is 11 inches long. So I've cut a strip of paper 11 inches long and then it's actually 1.5 centimetres wide. I do flip between centimetres and inches, depending on which measurement is the closest. So what does 1.5 centimetres equal in inches? For those that don't use both. So 1.5 centimetres is 1 5/8 of an inch, which is when it gets complicated for me. 1.5 centimetres is easier. But the actual width of it is not as much of a problem. And this is where I struggled to get my nails in, to get the backing paper off. I do sometimes use a craft knife to get at it. Now, I turn it upside down before I stick this on, but that's only so that I can see a little bit easier to get the middle. But sticker paper, while it will sort of stick to the foam, it doesn't stick on its own very well to the foam. So I find you need to have a bit of an overlap. So the reason the 1.5 centimetres is not a big deal is I've just done that for a nice sort of small overlap, would we say, that's not too thick. So at the minute it's just a little overlap, but your overlap can be as big as you want. And that's why the 1.5 centimetres doesn't matter. So if you want to do it 3/4 of an inch thick, that's fine. Because you don't particularly see the sides anyway, because they end up being taken over by the cards. So let me take that out. So that's my one for there. And then I have these here. And then what I've done for the sort of the beginning and the end, look, my cutting is shocking on that end. Anyway, we'll put that at the bottom. Is again, I've done it 2.25 inches, which is the width of my cardstock. And then I've done it 1.5 centimetres wide so that I can get that overlap over the foam. I have so been messing with this far too much today. And again, that's just so that I can get the overlap. Just a little bit, but from the top it looks pretty. You don't see foam. So that's the back. Slightly different for where I put the sticker saying how many thousand. So I'm actually using our pre-cut DMC stickers, and I've got 2 pieces of foam board, exactly the same size. So these are both 2 1/4 inches. Where's my scissors? They're both 2 1/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches. Or roughly, because sometimes my cutting is a little bit off. And what I did is I've put 2 pieces of double-sided tape on the back of 1 piece of board, and then sandwich the other one with it, making sure that once, you know, the top edge is quite nice and neat, as much as it can be. At the end of the day, some of this foam has been cut on an angle because of the way I've cut it, and that's part of the reason that I put a sticker over the top, to neaten up that join. So the sticker for this one, because it's 2 pieces of foam, is still 2 1/4 inches across, but it's 2 1/2 centimetres deep. So 2 1/2 centimetres is that about an inch? I think it's about an inch in width. Of course, you can always do more. And that gives me a nice white surface. And these stickers, while they are pre-cut, they are slightly shorter than the width of the foam board, because of course they need to go on the cardstock. But they are also slightly over, but not enough to do a nice fold. So what I do is I get it lined up in the middle, and then I just trim it off with my scissors. I did try it with a craft knife, but it didn't work as well. Just trim off the excess with my scissors, just so that it doesn't pick up any bits of fluff. And you can see very, very much slivers. Get them to stick to something in my bin, which is full of bits of foam board. And then this then fits in, so the 3/800s are here. That then slots in between the 2 pieces of board, and there's my 3/800s, or the start of them. So that's the start of my 3/800s. In fact, some of that, I feel like a piece of that foam board is very skewy. I might have to trim that down with my craft knife. And then if I bring over this, what I can then do is move the rest of my 3/8s, because they just continue over into this box. Now, you may have noticed that I now have all the 3000s in this photo box. Yes, dividing up with these dividers for the numbers has taken more space out of my boxes. I still have the board at each end, but when I have moved everything over and sort of packed it in, I have tried to make sure that I leave myself a lot more wiggle room. So I've been generous with the space that I've left, so that I can keep having space for spares, basically. Let me get my 5/200s to stand up. So there's a lot more space here for spares to go in. There's a lot more here and here for them to be able to all fit in. This, I have quite a bit of space, so I may do just a couple of pieces of foam board to help that stand up. That's my spare box. So I ended up revamping again, but when I look at it, I can still see those gaps because they're quite prominent now. They're not, yeah, they've got something to them now, and I did want to be able to use them. I just couldn't find a way to make it work until I turned off the camera last week and then I got messing. So these are my 100s, 200s, 300s, 4, 5 and 6. So they've all fit in one. Again, I've still got the dividers at the front and at the back. And even though I have some of these doubles right at the front, I have kept the divider in the front. Only because when I'm standing up to look at the box, see if I can get the same angle, that piece, this initial divider, the single divider, can't actually be seen when I'm looking in the box. And when I had that out and had, say, the 100s up against the wall, I couldn't see them as clearly. Whereas by having this divider in, it's very clear for me to see. Not as bad with the 100s, but definitely works better with the 500s. There's room to move. There's room for bags to grow. And then for the next one, I've got my 700s, then I've got 800s, and then I've got 900s. So not as many, there are more numbers DMC wise in this box. But again, if I lift it up, there's wiggle room. There's wiggle room in quite a few of these for me to be able to move some over, maybe move some over to this side because it's wiggling more, back and forth, but keeping them contained. So Megan will be very happy because my labels on the front of my boxes are back in use. These are 700s to 900s, this is 100s to 600s, and this one is the 3000s. But it does mean that I'm not going to fit my spares in with these. I'm still happier. I like the fact that there's a bit more wiggle room. I like the fact that the 3 boxes are sort of full but not full. Like they're being used to their maximum capacity. I've got some nice dividers, which again could always come out if I needed the space. I could take out these, I could take out the ones at the front, ones at the back, probably ones at the back first, but I actually really like the fact of sort of flipping through them now. I've given it a little bit of extra niceness with the stickers on the top of the foam board, just to give it, I don't know, a bit more of a polished finish, I suppose, is the way that I see it as. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how my spare storage looks. But it does mean for my special diamonds that they're not going to fit. They're not going to fit in here, you know, even if there is a little bit of wiggle room in this box. Because don't forget, 3756 took up about this much of the box in the first instance. So there's definitely a lot more wiggle room in the 3000 box, but not enough for the specials. So I did have a look at other, you know, storage that I had, the 28 containers. I have gazillions of those. I looked at a few other things, but to be honest, I think they're going to work best in the box they're in. So at the moment, they are in a photo box that I actually got from Michael's in the States. It is half the size of a normal photo box. So let's just grab this other spare one that I have. That's the size of a normal photo box. This one, apart from the lid, would probably just fit inside it and you'd fit a second one in. So, nice, small, compact box. I'm going to move the diamonds to the new baggies. I'm going to sort out these pots. These are from when I was doing scrapbooking. And these are some little gems that I used to use on pages. I'm happy enough for those to all be in the baggies, the same as the rest. So I'm going to put those away. I'm happy with the way that I have the system in relation to all the bigger special shapes mixed together. This is one shade of purple, this is another. I'm happy with that. All I simply want to do in here is I'll shorten my very badly cut piece of foam. I obviously shoved this in as a we'll see if this works and didn't neaten it up, so I will redo my foam. Well, not redo, I'll just neaten this one up, and I will cut it down a bit, same as what I did in the other boxes. I will give them a beginning and an end. In fact, I might need to do 2 pieces of foam in here for the spacing to be right, and I'll put these into the new baggies. So hold fire while I get all my stuff together and get the foam board cut and cut down. I'll get all that cut now before I start transferring some of these over. So I'll be back in a tick. Right, so I've cut some foam board. I've still got the original divider, I've just made it a little bit nicer. But I do think this one, I did think I was just going to put 2 in the middle, but I think there's still going to be wiggle room, especially when I move bags. So I've done 3. I've cut, these are 7 inches long, so I've cut a strip of sticker paper to make it pretty, 7 inches by 1.5 centimetres, and then I have cut a front and a back for each one, which again is 2.25 by 3.5 inches, and then the piece of paper is 2.25 inches by 1.5 centimetres. So let's get these looking pretty. So what colours do we have? I think that's what I might need to do first. So let's take out the colours, because there's not as many in this box, and maybe I can put them in a bit of a better order. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see how they go. There's a lot of blue. And then we have yellow, green, orange and white bits everywhere. And then I do also have these pots as well that I need to make sure that I use. So I've got a couple of diamonds floating about in the bottom of that, and they're not even special diamonds, so I don't know where they've come from. I'm trying to get it to fall out onto my floor so the hoover can have it, but it doesn't want to move. There we go. So first things first, let's put my little dividers in. This is a little bit smaller than the 11 inches, so maybe I can just, I think some of these boards are a little bit wider than 7 inches as well, but I'm thinking we need one there, followed by a spacer in the middle, and get hold of it. Come on. Might have to get my craft knife out to get the backs off these stickers. Oh no, got it. Followed by a piece for here, for the front. Oh, do you know what I didn't do? Or did I? No, I didn't. I didn't cut 1/2 inch off these. Okay. And of course I've got all my special diamonds out of the way. So I forgot, I just used one of them to measure the next, and I completely forgot that I'm losing 1/2 inch off them. So I've now got to cut 3 of them again. So I'm just lining it up with the inch mark, but then I'm just going to mark it at 1/2 inch. Just saves my ruler overhanging too much, and I'll do it of course at the edge that I've not stickered. So that's one. Let's try that now. That's better. It matches. But I'm going to have to take it off. All of them. So 1/2 inch, as long as I get it lined up with one of the markers. 1/2 inch isn't too bad a measurement to deal with, which is why I think I've gone for inches in that case than centimetres. Number 2, sending my diamonds flying. There's me thinking I was all organised, but nope. There we go. Okay. Let's try again. Let me move my craft mat back to the floor. It's a good job I didn't put that all away. Okay, so now I want another big one, because I do like to leave sort of the back ones until after I've at least got the first sort of row in. Yeah, these are a little bit wider than 7 inches, but I cut my stickers for 7 inches. So that should give us enough to start doing the first one. I think I will put the other one in at the front just to stop that wobbling a bit too much. And then we'll get, I've got the edge that's got a little bit of a lip on it so you can get the sticker off, supposedly. Should just pick up my craft knife again. It's easier with a craft knife. But when you start doing something, it's very hard to sort of give up trying. Okay. Pretty sticker on that one, and then hopefully we'll still fit. In fact, let's just do it and check that we'll then fit the other one in at the side. Because if they're both gonna, if I only need 2, then I might just put them in the middle. If I do need 3, then I'd rather have them at either end and 1 in the middle. Okay, let me move that up a little bit so that the gap, the fact that this sticker is a little bit shorter, isn't quite as obvious. Okay, am I going to get a, yeah, I am. So I've got a third one in there. So I've now got 3 just to help this photo box be the right size. And then I've got my 2 pieces of board for the back. We'll stick these stickers on just because who wants to watch me fight with stickers for an eternity? Just get them all done in one foul swoop. And then they're ready to go in when needed. Say the main reason I do fold them over is I don't think that they're going to stick to just the foam board if I trimmed it off. I don't think the adhesive is strong enough to just coat the foam. Okay, so maybe let's go for rainbow-ish colours. So that's actually orange. Let's see if we can get a rainbow. So let's start with red. I also have red in these diamonds. So I can empty this pot. And these are great little wax pots, so I won't be disappointed. And I am going to move to these stronger bags that Diana sent me. So it is a lot more moving diamonds over, but I do find they stand up much nicer in the storage boxes. Let's add those red. Flatten out any air. And the difference, oh, and of course I've missed one. The difference is with these, with the specials, is I don't put a sticker on the front. Some of the colours are much too long to get away with putting a sticker on the front. So we're starting with red. All these pots and bags and baggy paper and stuff will all get reused and put aside for other projects. And then for red we have all the other shaped reds. Anything that's not a standard diamond shape goes in this bag. And I've got tiny teardrop ones that don't want to come out. And all that have flown over my desk. That's got a real assortment in it. Proper assortment of different ones. So that's red done. That was quite easy. Then we go for orange, which has actually sort of got orange and then brown in it. I don't have any orange in there though, so that's good. So let's see if we can get these to fit into one bag. With specials, I think I might be happy going into a second bag if needed. I'm not sure because I don't really use my specials either. I have had one item that did come short of diamonds. It didn't have enough of the colour that I needed, but it was right at the beginning and I didn't have any spares at all. So I think it took me quite a few more different projects that I did before I managed to actually complete it, which was a bit of a disappointment, but these things happen. I have found that companies now, or at least the paintings I've been doing, special diamond paintings or off the canvas items that I've been doing recently, come on, have been a lot better with the quantity. And in fact, quite often, most companies have been good with the quantity of special diamonds. I've only ever had that one that was really bad. Okay, and then we need another bag for orange that are different. Come on. Okay, so that's orange. I am wondering if we're going to get anywhere near filling this box, but let's see. So yellow next. For yellow, I have pale yellow, darker yellow, gold, and then other shapes. I do have two yellows here, and I'd probably consider them both with that shading. So let's move over these bags that are going to be a lot easier first. Well, I say easier. Static hasn't come into the question yet, but they're definitely smaller. So in theory, they should take less time. Not always the same in practice. That's a piece of rubbish, so that can go. So we've got pale yellow. Then we have gold. There's quite a few things that I've had recently that have had gold. Gold. Then we have a lot for this one. I think this could potentially be 2 bags for the sort of yellow colours. Let's see how we go. Yeah. So for now, while I've not quite thought that far ahead / made a decision in relation to whether I am going to limit myself on the amount of special diamonds that I keep hold of, I am just going to go into a second bag because it takes quite a bit for me to go into a second bag, and I have done a lot of, you know, off the canvas and special diamond paintings in the past. And I know these are two slightly different shades of yellow, but they're close enough to me. I think if I kept watching, you know, and splitting the special diamonds up according to shape and or colour, I would have far too many bags to be happy. Come on. Tiny one there, which is why I do just mix them together. I did used to keep them separate, but it was just far too many bags for my liking. So we'll put them in that sort of order and pop yellow in. Now I'm also thinking pink. Pink is not quite, I don't think it's in the true rainbow colours. I might put it, I don't know whether to do red and pink or whether to just put it at the end. I'm going to put it at the end for now. So let's go for green. I have 2 pots with green. One goes with that pale and one goes with that standard. I've got a few different shades of green here, so I've sort of got a lime green, a pale green, a dark green, and then more of a blue green. It's one of those funny colours, isn't it, that you can end up with multiples of. So let's put the card in so I can actually start getting them out of the way, is what I want to do. And of course I end up with all the bags that I've emptied. So the reason I am changing the bags is because I was gifted some 4mm thick bags. They're slightly thinner than my original ones, but not by a lot. And both of them fit behind the DMC card perfectly, because there is only 0.25 of an inch between them. But these stand up a little better on their own. They can sometimes, if there is too much room, you know, the rows aren't full, they can sometimes slip underneath the DMC cardstock, but nowhere near as much as these bags do. And it means that I don't need to have this sort of baggy paper in. Plus, they don't fit as many in thickness wise. So the likes of these can get quite thick. Those ones don't get as thick. So because of that, they seem to just be neater and stand neater. And I kind of like that. Are these all going to fit? I think so. See if this is all I used to have for scrapbooking wise. Not realising that diamond painting wise I would get an abundance. And I probably paid far too much for these ones. See, look, I've got bags everywhere. Everywhere. At least I don't have to peel stickers off these bags when I'm done this time. Normally, as soon as I finish sort of one of my, you know, spare diamonds, making them pretty, when I've been doing that whole series, as soon as I finish filming, I seem to spend what feels like an eternity taking stickers off bags because, you know, fun. Okay, so next we want blue. Blue is epic. There is quite a few different blues. I do have quite a few different tones. Which one's better, that one or that one? that one, I think, only just. And that one I think goes better in that one, and they're a different colour. Okay, let's put the card in and let's start filling up the blues and see how far we get. These do have an AB coating, but they're more smooth, like a pearl type coat. You know, it is an iridescent coating, but they haven't got the facets like a normal diamond does. So I don't keep them in my ABs. And then I have a different type of blue, but again it's pearly, so it's more of a, I class it as more of a pearl than a diamond. So that's that one. I do want to do that one last because I do prefer to have sort of the fancy ones in the back of my list. So we'll go for dark blue. In these 3 shades of blue, there is a couple of different size of diamonds, just due to a couple of projects I did. We actually got the same colour of diamond in multiple sizes, so I did keep them together. Oh, some of these are stuck, and there's one stuck in the lid. They are pretty though. I do need to find something to do with the special diamonds, I think. Some sort of project to get all the special diamonds, or you know, to start using up some of the special diamonds. I do have more plans for using up DMC diamonds for my sins, because you know, it's not like I've not got enough projects on the go. But I do have something else coming to assist with that. So stay tuned. I have all these ideas and all these projects and don't have the time to do them. But such is life, is it not? Ooh. Pretty. I do like some of the blue colours, they are rather nice. I still have enough baggies for all of this, which is awesome. Still working through my gift, and I enjoy it every single time I de-kit now. It is the small things, and with me, quite often, you know, the things that do continue to make me smile, for an object anyway, that continues to make me smile, is quite often organisation that really works. It makes my life so much easier when I have something that works and is right. Don't get me wrong, I can get a backlog. So quite often if I'm doing special projects, I can end up with a bit of a backlog of special projects that haven't yet been, you know, finished or done. You know, they've been done, but they've not been de-kitted and put away. But they have a place to sit, and when they all get put away in the right organisation, I love it. Okay, so that's blue, which is a very big section. So let's do purple, and then maybe we'll not allow pink to sit with the rainbow. In purple, I do also have an iridescent one. It's very much multi-toned, but to me, purple was the best place for it to sit. Don't ask me I have a reason, because I don't think I do. But it made the most sense to me. It still makes sense to me, so I'm going to keep it there. I don't have any purple in from my scrapbooking goodies, because as much as purple is a lovely colour, and I think this is what's turned me off purple a little bit, you know, as in it's never been a contender for being my favourite. is it is so hard to scrapbook with purple. I've always found, I don't know what it is, but it is the one colour that has always been hard for me to scrapbook in. I have done the odd page with purple, but it just doesn't seem to work the same and doesn't seem to click the same as working with multitudes of other colours. I'm fine, you know, with a little hint of it, but the main colour being purple, no. Just can't make it work. And there's not many scrapbooking collections either that tend to have purple or be predominantly purple in any way. It just doesn't wash. Okay, so I'm going to try that as sort of the end of the first row. It is probably not as full as I would necessarily have a row if it were in my normal spare storage. But with the special diamonds, I don't have anywhere near as many. So there is going to be gaps, and really I don't want to have to go cutting a load more foam board to bump it up. So I'd rather have it where it's at a point where it'll take more, but it's not got too little an amount in. And I'm hoping that it's at that point with these. And then we'll do pink. Yeah, I have got my foam board in there. So we'll start with pink. I've got 2 here. That's a pale pink. That's more of a pink. Okay. So let's get some of these away. So it's got a few different shades of pink in this one. And it's obviously got some that are stuck together. Now my ABs are in a different place. So at the moment my ABs are in little stackable storage pots that I was gifted from Melissa in the hope that I would use them in a diamond painting, you know, to replace some. What I think I'm going to do with those is I think I might try and mix them in. Now, I never originally knew, and this is where in this sort of hobby we're all constantly learning. I didn't know that Diamond Art Club, for example, did a conversion on their ABs into DMC numbers. It wasn't something that I knew they did. I figured there was something, but I suppose I never particularly went hunting for it. And the other company that I've got ABs from, bar the Diamond Art Clubs that I've done, was Timney Art. And I think they use the same number system as Diamond Art Club. Definitely some of the colours seem extremely similar. So what I think I'm going to do with ABs is I will either add them to my specials but with the DMC number, or I'm going to mix them in with my DMC colours and just use a blue sticker, a blue small sticker, to let me know that they are ABs rather than normal. Let me know your thoughts. I suppose some of it will depend on how much space I have in this specials by the time I've got these in. I don't have many ABs at all. So it may be that what I do is I actually put them in these colours, so i.e. blue, but put the DMC number on them to show me that they are. I suppose that's where I'd go looking if I wanted to fill a gap. I do also have, that I do need to find a home for, and that may well be in this box, some glow-in-the-dark diamonds that was sent to me by Margaret. Megan definitely has something on its way that she is planning on incorporating some of the glow-in-the-dark diamonds with. And I want to incorporate it into some paintings as well. I think a lot of the time I actually forget that I have, you know, these ones that I can switch out. So I don't know whether to do that or whether to have them somewhere that they're a bit more prominent to remind me. See, there's always things to think about and to plan and to do. And this storage has worked for me. I just want it to look nice. Okay, we'll go for white next. I am definitely still going to have space in here, so maybe I do move the glow in the dark. Because they'll take a few bags because she sent me loads. Okay, what are those? So when I last de-kitted a special diamond painting, it did have standard white diamonds in it. See here, I do have some white ABs, but they didn't come from Diamond Art Club or Timney Arts. They've come on a painting, so they never came with a number, so I keep them in here. But I did have a painting that came with just standard diamonds in white. And I've had quite a few special diamond paintings that have come with a black 310 as a standard diamond. So I like to keep a bag of them in with my specials purely for when I'm de-kitting specials. I don't want to have to pull out all my other diamonds. And then these are the ones that have an AB coating but are more like a pearl. So there's no facets on them. They are smooth, but with the AB coating. I keep those two separate because I think that would potentially be a nightmare to split up. Absolute nightmare. But I think I might move my glow in the dark because I do like the idea of filling this up a little bit more. Where did I put them? I'm pretty sure, yeah, there, yeah. So these are my glow-in-the-dark diamonds, sent to me by Margaret. It says 200. I don't think it means that there's 200 in there, because that is a bucket ton more. But, are you ready? They should have been under the lights enough. If I turn these lights off, see them glow. I don't know if you can see them glow. It is still slightly daytime here. Not very much, but they definitely glow in the dark. I don't know if this is going to be the best way to get them in. This is one big bag. Okay, this could be fun. I can see this going everywhere. Okay, how is this going to work? Oh, I've still got my tape measure out, and my tape measure fits in this little cup thing. I think I'm going to scoop, is what I'm going to do. So, they are glow-in-the-dark diamonds. I don't know how many I'm going to fit. Do I do the black and then fill the gaps? I don't know. Let's put a few more bags in. I can always keep these spares separate because, as I say, I do know that something we've recently ordered, one of the items, well, I've recently ordered it, but I've ordered something for me and for Megan. And while we were looking, we had the idea of Megan using ABs on hers. It'll make sense when it arrives and I unbox it. She does like her sort of galaxy images. So we thought switching for these glow in the dark would be perfect for her. So there will be quite a few of these being used up for that. And I need to find a painting that I've got that would really suit some glow in the dark. Okay, rather than keep him making a mess, let's put the black away. Black is quite simple. I have some that are basically 310 in round, and then I have ones with the silver back. So I only have 2 for black, which is why I might sort of fill the gap with glow in the dark, but we don't need to see that for that long. I'm already making enough as a mess as it is. Okay, funnel didn't work. Let's get that out of the way. And then silver backed. Okay, so yeah, there's loads of room in here for more. So where's my ABs? So my ABs are currently stored like this. I actually don't know what colours they are, as in numbers wise. However, if I look at the Diamond Art Club list, I could probably match them. I have 3 that are in square, and they were from Mama Knows Best. And then I have a load in round, which I think some of them were from Peter Pan that Megan did, but I think most of them were from like Timney Arts diamond painting. And I did use ABs in something, but I didn't use them in everything. So what I'll do is, I know I've only recently put them into these pots in an attempt to use them, and I'm actually pretty sure I did have the numbers on them originally, so maybe I'll go find that video and get the numbers off there. But I am going to have a look at the sort of Diamond Art Club list of what is transferred, and I'll have a look at my DMC chart and see what's the closest, what it's the closest to, and I'll number it as those. So I will be back because this needs to be done. So I'm going to go find out what numbers, or at least what I think the numbers of these ABs are going to be, so they can go in the specials for now. They can always move into my main spare storage, but I think for now they can go in specials. I also have Minions that I'm currently working on, and that has some AB, and some of these colours look similar, so I may be able to pinch them, you know, pinch what they are off that. Okay, how is that a full set? No, I've got far too many on there. Okay, I just need the top. There we go. That's a bottom. Let's try and make some sense. Okay. So yeah, let's put these into bags, and then I am going to go find out what DMC numbers they are, because at least then going forward they will have their DMC numbers. Does mean I'm going to have a sticker sheet that's, you know, not everything's been used, but I do have an AB, a mystery AB diamond painting from Row Diamonds. I do also have a canvas that is normal diamonds and AB diamonds, again from Row Diamonds. And they actually put the DMC number on it, so maybe they will have some, you know, that aren't in this. So I'm sure I'll be able to use a fair chunk of those DMC numbers. So bear with me while I get the DMC numbers for these. We'll get those in there, and I may bag up a few more of these glow-in-the-dark diamonds as well, just to help bump it out. Be back soon. I found out what the AB numbers are. So there was a list posted on my Facebook group the other day. Somebody did ask the question in relation to finding out the colours for AB. Apparently the Gems Flow app on your phone can also let you know what the conversion is. So because for the ABs there is a lot less colours that they use as ABs, it was very easy for me to determine which it was. If I was unsure, I got out my normal diamonds out of my spares, and I checked what the back of the diamond looked like compared to it, rather than it being AB coated. So I've managed to label up all of my round ABs and all of my square ABs. So I did treat myself to a pack of small DMC in round and square in blue, even though the square I only used 3 stickers out of 400 and something. But you know, you've got to have perks when they're items from my shop, don't you just? So what I also have done is I have stuck the sticker to the right most of the time, and in my normal spare storage all my stickers are stuck to the left. That's just the place that suits me. Round and square are stuck there, and I'm happy with that. But I thought, if I do ever move these in with my DMC, then I would want that difference between the two. I think for now I'm going to put them in with my specials, because AB to me is a special diamond. But it may change, and therefore by putting them on the right hand side I've got that option for change. So I have 2 in orange. This will also help when I put minions away. I have a yellow. I'm going to push them all sort of to the back. The yellow's in square, or I have a yellow in round as well, though it's a different number. This is where I test how much space I actually have. So do I have any red? No. Orange. Yellow I've put in. Green I don't. Oh, here we go. This is where it's going to be fun. Blue. I have 3 more bags to add to blue. Put them sort of in DMC number order there. Purple may or may not need to move over soon. I do still have room, but I have a lot of bags. And then I have more white. I have also bagged up, so I think I've got 5 bags in there now that have glow-in-the-dark diamonds. I do have some left over, so I have plenty, but I've done that really to help this row stand up a little bit more, so that this whole thing, while it has got space for more, as you can see I can move the purple, it will scoot up a bit, the black has got space. You know, it's not got too much space that it's uncontrollable. And I can always take some of these out if I need to move stuff across, because I don't need to store that many in here. And it means if I go looking for them, there is a couple of places. So I will still put them in my little drawer that has, well, it has my 3 10s in square. That are overtaking it. It also has other diamond painting trays, things like that. I'll put those back in there, but I have them now with my specials as well, which I like. So that's all pretty. It's even got the stickers, the little dividers at the front. Everything's in nice bags. It all fits, and I'll still use the same label stating special. So thank you so much for joining me while I revamped my special diamond storage, and I hope that's helped you in potentially storing yours. I hope it's helped in relation to the ABs as well, and how you could store them either with your specials or with your normal DMC. stay tuned because next week is the monster. The monster that is my extremely disorganised and chaotic Heaven and Earth design spares. That bad boy needs to get tackled. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.